Hello and good morning. It's Serena Miranda, your host of Let's Talk Motivation. And my guest today is Orlando Nevarez with Nevarez Moving Company. Hi, Orlando. How are you doing?
How you doing today?
Good. A side note. We're related. We're
Yes.
cousins,
Yes.
long distance cousins, but we're
Yes.
cousins. And Orlando is a business owner and out of California. And tell us, Orlando, everything about you and your business.
Yeah. So we are a moving company out in the Bay Area, right? We do moving, packing, unpacking. We extended our services to do disposal junk removal, storage, and home cleaning or business cleaning. So it's all incumbent in one package if a client needs that. And there has been many that wanted the whole package. So yes.
That's amazing. And you also, in your moving company part, you move people all over the nation, correct?
Yes. So we'll move local, statewide, and nationwide.
Nice. That's nice. So when you say the Bay Area, because I'm a Texan girl, so I need to see cities. San Francisco, south of San Francisco?
Yeah, so by San Jose, which is right next to San Francisco. So we're so used to the same Bay Area or Silicon Valley, right? So it's basically the northern part of California, maybe 40 minutes from San Francisco. So all that is our area as well.
Nice. Well, that is one of my favorite places to visit, that
Yeah,
whole
great
area.
food, great restaurants for sure, great view.
Yes. And how long have you been in this area?
Well, I've been here my whole life, first of all, but second, the business started 2017. Before that, I worked for the cable company out here, so I became very good at customer service. But I also worked van lines earlier on, as when I was younger, high school, college. So van lines is like the companies that cater to long distance moves in the moving industry, North America, Allied, and some of those. And mainly, those companies will focus, at least the times that I went in, the realm of businesses moving whole buildings, so it was
Wow.
big numbers of employees at time 15, 30 at one time doing big jobs.
That's amazing. I didn't know that. And so in 2017, what happened that you said, I have to start my own business?
You know what? I was working. I mean, I don't know if I could say the name of the company, right? But it was Comcast, right? I was a technician working there, and I remember one time they told me, "Hey, if I wanted to be management," and they said, "Hey, if two things: if you go to school and get your business management degree, you'll rank higher, and if you take projects, you'll rank higher." So I went to school. I took out my degree. I went to projects. I went to Utah. I spent a couple of months over there. I did some other projects. I took some leadership projects. And what I learned, I can't say, companies, it's not what you know in companies, it's who you know. And unfortunately, I didn't like to really mingle all the time like that, right? So I didn't go far in the interviews. I think I did maybe like 5 to 6 interviews. And I was like, there has to be a better way to this, And second, you cannot really set up your own schedule when you work for somebody. You have to really cater to the times and so on that they give you. And if not, then you might lose your job. So I had family that were in the moving industry, 30 years, 25, 20. And I sat down with them and I said, what's a good idea if we start a moving company? Do you guys want to join me? And they said, yes, but we don't want to be part of it. We just want to be your movers. We don't want to deal with acquisition of business.
Yes.
And I was like, oh man, my plan was to bring them with me, and they didn't want to join me. So now I had to fly solo in that department. And it was a little bit hard, but we started doing first commercial moves. And, that was funny. We started on that path, and come to find out that is probably the hardest path to start on, the commercial moves, because it's at that point, the only reason why we started doing commercial moves, because I knew a couple of people that own their own businesses, and it just happened to coincide that they were moving transition from that building to another building and so on. And they hired me once they realized that I was starting a company. I had the right people, and that's how we started doing that. And now it has become that we don't do that many commercials right now. Just it changed.
That's interesting, but that's neat how it evolved and how you started and you wanted to group up with somebody, but then you just had to be the man. You were the one, you and your wife, right, own this business, and y'all had to be the business owners and do everything, right?
Everything, yeah. My wife came later on. She did help me in the back end, but I mean, she had a great job before. Don't get me wrong. She loves this job. I love this job, right? But I never saw her jumping full on board with me. And she just came one time and she said, like, I see you stressing out. I'm putting my 2-week notice and I'm jumping with you. And I was like, no, wait, what?
Oh
No,
my
hold on, wait a minute. It's like, no, I already thought about it. It's happening. Yeah, so that was
That's
amazing.
funny.
She's laughing
Well,
right now.
she is. Well, it's funny because Ron is a real estate broker, and I was working in education, and I loved my job. I was traveling, and it was more in the title federal and state level. So I wasn't in the classroom. I was actually training the state mandated curriculums to the teachers in the districts. So it was a different level of education. But I remember when Ron said, he came up to me and he goes, Serena, I'm either going to hire somebody or you quit and you join me. And I was like, no, you're not going to hire anybody. Of course I'm going to join you. So I put my 2 weeks in and I was like, let's go. That was in 2017. So there must have been something in the water then.
Yeah. It must be a family thing. I don't know.
It must be. It must be. Well, I have some questions for you and we'll just jump in on them right now.
All right.
So the first one is, what helps you stay centered and driven while navigating the highs and the lows of business and life?
Well, it has always been faith. Right. I always say this, at least for me and my family, my wife, is I have permission to run this business. Right. I will say it's mine, but it's not mine. I have permission to run it, and I take it like that. And that's how we function now. On the high and lows, once you understand a little bit more business, right? I could tell in the beginning I will panic for everything at times, and now it's more like, whenever anything comes, it's just the way you take it. Like, slow down, focus, get it going. I mean, I could tell you a quick story. One of our trucks I don't even know how they did it in one night, but they tagged it all with paintings, pictures of a pit bull on one side. It was great art. Let me tell you, it was amazing. We even took pictures. I have the pictures, and I remember as we were driving to the office, the team calls me and says, Sir Orlando, something's wrong with the truck. I'm all, what happened to the truck? They tagged it all. Oh my goodness, what are we going to do? And I was like, wow, let's not panic. Like, I know, but oh my God, if you panic, then your whole team's going to panic at that point, right?
Exactly.
This is when I finally, before I learned how to just take it slow, let's think about it. Okay, well, we'll go rent out a truck. We'll figure out how to take off that paint and move forward. So we get there very calm. Look. I'm like, don't worry about it. You're good. But don't worry about it. Well, I'll take care of that. Let's focus on the customer. Leave this up to me. We got it. It comes with understanding that things will happen. It's just the way you take it and how you manage it.
Right. Those speed bumps do sneak up on you, but you just got to brake and go over real slow. That is true. That's awesome.
That is.
So what about, tell us about a time when your leadership was truly tested and what helped you push through?
You know what? At times we have, you have to understand that your team really looks up to you. If you come in here frustrated, tired, and impatient, it's gonna seep down to all of them. It just will. Even if there's a problem that they see or they don't see, it's the approach you have, right? And I was not good at that in the beginning. I would get frustrated, upset. I would not want to do certain things because I was frustrated. And you got to understand, do you want a real business? You got to know your function and you got to know the approach to different things, right? So I remember we had this client that required a lot of attention. And I remember the client said, well, I want the owner to be here, and I remember I was at home and I was like, it's a Sunday. I do not want to go nowhere, but it is my business, so I had to break that off, and I had to tell the family, I gotta really show face. I gotta go talk to this client, for whatever reason, he's not happy, even though the movers are doing great. I went there, shook his hand. Let's talk about it. Let's step aside. Do you mind letting my guys continue and functioning, right? And yeah, so that really put me in shape that it is my business. If it requires my presence, I need to be there regardless of how I feel or what I want to be doing.
That's so true. I was listening to somebody speak today and they called it the customer experience, right? And it's like, how do they go through your funnel? And sometimes because we're small businesses, we're self-employed, and a lot of people do business because they do business with us, right? They want to do business with you, Orlando, or your wife, and they're like, I know you, I need you here. So I totally agree that we have to make those sacrifices sometime, for sure. Before we dive back in, let me share something that's been helping so many of my listeners lately. Are you legally ready? Most business owners aren't until it's too late. I'm Serena Miranda, and I help small business owners stay protected with affordable access to a provider law firm. Whether it's contracts, collections, employee issues, or compliance questions, you don't have to go at it alone. Legal protection is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. Let's get your business legally ready. DM me, Serena Protects, or click the link in the show notes to schedule a quick legal readiness call. Now let's get back to it, because staying legally ready is one of the smartest moves you can make as a business owner. That is so true. So are there any habits, beliefs, or support systems that keep you grounded and energized on a daily basis?
Oh, for sure. Faith number one, for sure. Having meetings with specifically my wife. We're both the owners. Seeing what we're gonna do, see what issues we had, what needs correction. Ongoing meetings, but also listening to your team. Some of the feedback they give you gotta listen to it, because I'm not out on the field no more, right? I'm not on the back end of answering all the calls and taking care of the clients, right? So their feedback has to be important as well, and having those ongoing meetings with them so we could make sure we could do the best we can in our business and for the client.
Nice. So what is your team? How big is your team?
We're 8 right now. And then in the getting closer to the summer, it could jump all the way to 30. All right. So it could get pretty, I call it beautiful mayhem.
That's a t-shirt.
Yes. Like, man, you guys are everywhere. What's going on, Orlando? I call this beautiful mayhem,
Yes. That's cool. So and they're contractors during the summertime, or do you hire them?
Some of them are, and some of them are part-time. Some of them are on call. So we broke it down in those categories. And of course, our full-times are always full-times.
Yeah, that's good. I look forward to growing like that. My insurance brokerage is just myself, and I have a part-time employee, and then we're not there yet. Luckily, a lot of the systems that I have, it's automated, so I can use the system to do some of the quotes and help. But yeah, growing a team and having that trust in them, that's amazing. That's fun, because you get to scale, right?
Yes, you do. And sometimes you got to push forward. I know sometimes we're looking at an example budget, or can they really accomplish the task? You just got to do your due diligence as best as you can. Like, you got to give the budget, or not how you're going to grow, right? And you got to trust the people that you interview. If they sound decent, give them that shot.
Yeah, that's cool. So who in your team has been there the longest?
It has been Alan, Lisandro, Karen, and Alfredo.
Nice. So you got 4 that have been with you for quite a while?
Yes. Of course, my wife, right? She's me.
She's number 1.
Yes, she is. She's the VIP over here.
That's right. Okay, so if someone came to you whether they're in leadership or a business owner, and they are feeling stuck or unmotivated, what guidance would you share from your own experience?
I will say have friends that are probably business like people that maybe going or have gone through the same phase you have, right? Also, get yourself, I would say, like a coach, right? That you could go with problems, issues, circumstances, probably give them what your plans are, get feedback as well, right? Go to motivational events as well, right? Let them fire you up. Sometimes if you're constantly by yourself, some people could do it, they could handle their own, right? But at least once twice a year, make that commitment, spend that money on yourself to grow. Go to growth events, you know. I mean, if you can, hit the gym. I don't think age matters, you know. Feel good, you know.
Yeah.
Wake up early, have your work schedule, have your workout schedule, have your faith schedule. It's all in one. I tell my family, right, the way we function is this, you know, we always need that assistance in maintaining spiritually, physically, and mentally, right?
Yes.
And that's the way we try to keep it in our home. And am I perfect? Are we perfect? No, but that keeps me motivated, you know. And if I see other businesses like me thriving, like we went to the Arizona event, there's companies that are smaller than me, about my level, and some that are way up there, you know. It's like, it's motivating. I mean, they're people just like us, like you and me, and they're
Yeah.
killing it. And I'm like, man, if they're doing it, let me talk to them, because they're willing to
Yeah.
participate and talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, take some pointers, you know, get to know them. They love giving feedback and all that, because they're already there. They don't care of sharing whatever they got to share. They're there already. At least they feel they're there, and they are.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, just find a good coach. It could be a friend, but preferably maybe a professional, right? For
Yeah.
business, you know, and hang out with people in your same realm, even if they're not in your same realm. I mean, we network a lot, and we know all kinds of businesses, and we see the ups and downs, and okay, I'm not the only one.
Yep.
I'm not the only one with those beautiful struggles. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they tell you maybe how they overcome it, or maybe you know how to overcome whatever they're going through, and it's just a sharing experience. So all that combined plays a role on us going know how to handle the up and downs of personal and business.
That is so true. That's something that I learned in this second wave of building this business, because prior to this, Ron did everything, right? And I was just the operations, and he'd be like, Serena, I need your help here. I'm like, yeah, I got you. And then when 2023, when I decided to go all in on the insurance agency, I learned that because I wanted to start from the beginning and do it go through it myself, right? Because Ron's usually the one that starts businesses and builds them, and I'm just support. And in 2023, I told him, I said, I'm quitting. Well, actually, I told him, I'm firing myself. I'm not helping you anymore. I'm doing my own thing. And he was like, okay, yeah, tell me how I can support you. And I started going to these networking events, and I started listening to people that had a coach. And it has made me I have a better chance of going farther as a business owner, because I get to see how they handled strategies, how they handled issues. And it's just good. And it's accountability, because they will be like, Serena, did you call your leads this week? And I'm like, on Fridays, I'm like, I
Yeah.
didn't do it. So you're right. The networking, getting a coach, all that helps your business for sure.
Yeah, and also, like, I mean, if you need to create like a small group for accountability, you should, right? Like, I'll give example. We're Ada and I are in a group of about 50 to 60 moving companies, and there's accountability there. They constantly give feedback on how they do it, how they function, any question we might have, regardless of how you feel like, oh my goodness, are they really going to give me that information? They'll give it to you.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. And then they're constantly saying like, hey, how's your mental health? Hey, how's business? Hey, how's your workout? Are you guys working out? That's a big deal of ownership. You should be decently fit if you're running a business for your own mental health. Come on, guys, get it going.
Yes, I just recently had someone post, someone that I know that she's also a coach and I'm part of a group with her. And she said, have you taken care of your health today? And as business owners, that's sometimes not at the top of the list because we've got all these things to get done. And I was like, shoot, I need to go for a walk. I was like, okay, I need to take a moment, right? And get some mental health. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's important.
So where do you see the future of your business? Where is it going in the next, let's do the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years?
So goal is to have about eight moving trucks, right? All branded. We just moved to this warehouse. Is pretty big. I want one 10 times bigger than this for storage, right? And you just have to put it in your mind. I mean, I take pictures of where I want to be. Over here, I have the trucks, the bigger warehouse, and so on, and I constantly visualize it. And I mean, it's not easy, but anything's possible, and you just got to give it your all. I just heard this great speaker in the morning said, you got to give it your all, like go all out. And yeah, you let's say you might die in the process, but you were giving it your all. And number two, if you do accomplish it, that's what it takes, giving it your all, whatever that means in your space. Got to focus on it. And I mean, bigger warehouse, 8 trucks, maybe 30 to 50 people, working for me at all times, and just being known as the best moving company all the way around. And then hopefully we could transition to different locations. That's the other goal, and where I could fully step back and I could put a couple of people or maybe one individual in place for Ada and me.
Nice. Yeah, that is a goal. Vision boards. I think that is in visualizing yourself at that space in the future. I know one of the coaches that I work with, she talks about your future self and like, what would you tell that future self? Or what would the future self be telling you, right? So I like to say, oh, Serena, you're $1 million business. You're a multi-million-dollar business in 5 years. You've grown your book of business and you're able to be debt free and hire employees in your community. So yeah, that is so important. Visualizing your success, right?
Very important. I might have to agree with that the whole way. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for spending time with me all the way from California. And we will definitely check in with you and find out where you're at as your journey goes. And I don't know, maybe there needs to be a Nevarez moving company here in Texas, in San Antonio.
It's very possible. I'll be honest with you, Serena. So that might be in the near future. We're really thinking about certain avenues to take, and that's definitely a possibility.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Hugs from Texas. And give us your social media. What is your social media? So we can follow you.
What is it? Instagram at Nevarez Moving Company. LinkedIn I don't know if it's under my name, but it should still pop up, Nevarez Moving Company. Okay. Facebook, the same thing. And then you can find my personal under that as well. And they're all open accounts, so no need for requests. You could just be a part of that. And any questions you guys might have, I'm here to serve.
Perfect. And I'll put them down in the description so people can click them and go directly there.
Awesome. Thank you for today.
Awesome. And you never know. We might have a whole lot of people from California be like, I need him to move to Texas.
There we go.
There you go.
I'll give you that. That'll be awesome.
Awesome. Hugs for everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.